something damning just happened with this Fort Huachuca story. It is getting crazy out here in these streets. You guys have got to hear this. Apparently, it looks like Candace Owens may have caught Andrew Colvett and Erica Kirk trying to manipulate things behind the scenes about this interview that she had with the gentleman named Mitch, who there's a lot of attacks happening out there right now. I do want to say, like, once again, she brought him on the show. He told her that he believed that he saw Brian, Erica, and Congressman Almeida at Fort Huachuca on September 8th. That date is important because now apparently Andrew Colvett during a live stream got his hand in the cookie jar, as she said it. We're going to show you in just a second. But apparently it looks like he was trying to tell a YouTuber what to say about where Erica's whereabouts were for that day. And it could just be that Mitch was wrong. Maybe he did not see Erica. Maybe he thought he saw her. But the way that Turning Point USA is behaving about this only makes people scratch their heads more and question their transparency. So again, part of the reason why people are asking these questions is because the FBI was not transparent. TPUSA has not been transparent about the assassination of Charlie Kirk. But it's getting to be much messier than that, ladies and gentlemen. I told you early on that I did not believe that Erica was the saint that people were making her out to be. When I said this early on, I was like, I don't know, something really suspect about her. And I looked into her past and I was like, uh-oh, this is not good. People were not too happy with me when I said that early on. But as time has gone by, I think more people are starting to see there is something that is not right here. Let's go ahead and get into this clip here. Project Constitution has been on it. Erica Kirk's alibi just got completely destroyed. Listen to what she actually said to Jesse Waters. In her own Jesse Waters interview, Erica admits Charlie was at the office all day on September 9th. Let's go ahead and get into this video here. Let me make this a little bit bigger for you guys.
Tell me about the day before the shooting.
He was at the office and we were going to meet for dinner beforehand with a dear friend of ours who I wanted to just be with us and pray with us before the event. It's no hidden secret that stuff on campus is heating up. You see people on campus coming on with guns prior to the event that happened with Charlie, the assassination.
So did everybody hear what she said? She said he was at the office all day. Not we, he. Let's continue.
With Charlie. And so I know that, you know, you and I even talked about how I used to say, you know, Charlie, have you ever thought about wearing a vest? He would nod to that and be like, you know, I've looked into it. But he'd always say, if they're going to get me, they're going to get me. He wasn't afraid. Wouldn't have mattered anyways if you wore a vest.
Erica's mom was dealing with a medical issue, so she stayed in Phoenix to care for her.
Okay, hold on to that part. Her mom was dealing with a medical issue, so she stayed in Phoenix to care for her. Okay, so everybody remember all that, because now this story isn't making sense. And if people thought the Fort Huachuca story didn't make sense, well, now this just makes it look even more suspicious. This is what I was saying. They're not being transparent. Let's go back up to the top here, because these are things people are calling out. So Project Constitution goes on to say, quoting her words here, and says, she never once said she was with him. See, that's the big key. He was at the office that day, all day, but she didn't say she was with him. Let's continue on. They were supposed to meet up for dinner with a friend, yada, yada. Her mom had medical issues, so she stayed in Phoenix to care for her. Charlie came home alone that night. Their daughter, Gigi, woke up and slept in the master bed with Erica, so Erica told Charlie to go sleep in Gigi's room for a better night's rest. Separate beds, separate rooms. She didn't even see him the morning of September 10th. So let's go back to that video and I'm going to show you what Candace is saying now.
Tell me about the day before the
about how I used to say, if they're going to get me, they're going to get me. He wasn't afraid. Wouldn't have mattered anyways if he wore a vest.
Erica's mom was dealing with a medical issue, so she stayed in Phoenix to care for her. She planned to join Charlie at the next scheduled Turning Point event at Colorado State just a few days later.
He was like, home needs you. Home needs you. Be home. Come with me on Thursday to the next event we have. And so for him that night, he was so excited. I mean, he just was like, I can't wait. It's going to be the best. And he got up around 2:45, 3-ish to go into the kitchen to grab a snack. And our daughter had woke up around that same time. We live in a small space, so you can kind of hear when everyone's kind of shuffling around. And so she came to our room and she stayed in our bed. And he always loved when Gigi slept in our bed because she's, little ones, they like curl up inside of you and like they're just nuzzled in. But you also know that it can be very acrobatic when a 3-year-old is in your bed and somehow their feet end up on your face. So I said, I want you to have a good night's sleep. Go ahead and sleep in her room. And I'll turn the air down so it's nice and cozy in there. And I just want you to get a good night's sleep so you can be amazing tomorrow. And so Gigi and I stayed in our room. And that morning he woke up super early and he came into our bedroom, into the bathroom, because that's where his wedding ring was and his necklace. And he came in and he grabbed that and then he left.
So does anybody find it interesting? Now looking back at this, and I didn't think about it at that point in time, anybody find it interesting that she said he was very excited about that day's event, the Utah Valley event? It's interesting to me because he had done so many other events, right? Like, and this is not to say that you wouldn't be excited anymore, but I don't know. This seems kind of weird considering he has spoken at so many colleges. And it's not like this was like a huge college or anything, or a prominent college. But she says that he said that he was very, very, very excited. This is something I question because it's not like it was his first one. It's not like he had just started this. I question that. Now, let's go back. We go up to the top part here, ladies and gents. Andrew Colvet's metadata proof, which we're going to get into, that photo supposedly shows Erica having dinner with Charlie on September 9th, the exact day Erica herself says she wasn't with him all day, had to meet up if dinner happened, and slept in a completely different room. The photo covers 0 of the critical window. September 8th, that evening, the whistleblower sighting, alleged sighting of Erica at Candlewood Suites on Fort Huachuca, leading into the mysterious September 9th early morning activity. Candace has been crystal clear. The key sighting was on September 8th, with a follow-up on September 9th. Erica's own words leave September 8th wide open and cast massive doubt on September 9th. Why push a mismatched photo as definite proof? I'll show you the photo in just a second. Why the coordinated spin and straw man attacks? This isn't clarification. This is desperation. Yes. And that is exactly what I gathered from this as well. I felt as though this was a desperate attempt. I'll show you the photo here. And Candace talks about this photo as well. Let me go ahead and make this bigger for you so you can see. This is the image that they're referring to. This is Erica's hand. And the date, which you'll see it closer up in just a second in the video, is September 9th. But it's worth saying, LOL, Erica wasn't in some fort in Tucson. The internet has gone insane. She woke up next to Charlie, went to the office with Charlie all day, woke him up from a nap before a fox hit, went to dinner with Charlie. Literally, people are lunatics. This doesn't make any sense because it says right here, where are we here? She woke up next to Charlie, went to the office with Charlie all day, woke him up from a nap before a fox hit. So again, the date that is in question is actually September 8th, not September 9th. The picture that she is sharing says September 9th. So what happened on September 8th? Also, this also doesn't make sense. She woke up next to him. But in the interview with Jesse Waters, she said that he slept in her daughter's room because she wanted him to have a good night's sleep, which means he did not wake up next to her. So which one is it, Erica? This is why people are asking the questions that they're asking. Now let's get into this part here as well. I'm going to show you a little bit larger because the picture Candace shows is larger. See where it says September 9th? So this is what Erica was sharing. This is where I was on September 9th. But the date in question is September 8th. This is what Candace said here. Erica Kirk's Fort Huachuca alibi. Andrew Colvin is live texting with a YouTuber offering proof that Erica wasn't at some fort. He shares Erica's metadata, claiming she had dinner with Charlie Kirk and therefore could not have been at Fort Huachuca. Only problem, it's her metadata and schedule for September 9th. Andrew is being intentionally obtuse. He clearly understands the allegations made is that she was seen on September 8th. Why the intentional disinformation? Also, why not just simply text it to me rather than a random YouTuber? Why is everyone being so intentionally evasive about Fort Huachuca? And this is why people are asking questions, right? So that's a good question. Why didn't he just text that information to her? Why is he sharing this with a YouTuber? They didn't even do their due diligence and get the date right. And so when people are like, oh no, this is all conspiracy, you guys are ridiculous. When people say that, you need to look at the way that Turning Point USA is behaving and the way that Erica Kirk and them are behaving. It's really weird. Out of everything that's been said, the one thing that they should have gotten right is the date. So now it looks even more suspicious because that's not the day in question. So Candace did release a video. She's not live yet, probably still on break, but she did post a video. It looks like this might be on Instagram that was shared to Twitter because I guess she felt she needed to come out and say something with everything that's being that's going on. Listen to this.
Okay, I just have to jump on here to let you guys know that Andrew Colvin, the spokesperson for Turning Point USA, just got caught with his hand in the cookie jar, trying to help orchestrate behind the scenes an alibi for Erica Kirk and Fort Huachuca. Now, why is this crazy? For those of you that don't know the backstory here, essentially, this guy, Mitch, it was very compelling, said that he saw Brian Harpole leaving this meeting at Fort Huachuca on September 9th. Now, I wanted to give him the platform after I verified where he was to tell his story, but he also had to include the part where he claims that he saw Erica Kirk the night before, also on Fort Huachuca at Candlewood Inn and Suites. Okay.
So that would have been September 8th, the night before.
Now, truthfully, I put it at 50-50 because, like I said on my show, I believe that he was at this meeting was significant and that it concluded. I felt really strongly that he saw Brian Harpole, but what's his memory like? Are you good at remembering faces? Did you just see another blonde and think that it was Erica Kirk? Genuinely, I thought it was at like 50-50 until tonight, where all of a sudden there were all these attacks regarding Fort Huachuca. We didn't really know where they were coming from. You got people calling me insane. Alex Jones jumps into the foray. I'm like, what is happening right now? Why does Fort Huachuca have so many people triggered?
Well, let me say this here. Didn't I tell you guys it was kind of weird how all these people were making these videos and there was like, oh, da 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 da. It was just kind of weird. Like Alex Jones, who obviously he said he knows Candace. I guess, was friendly with her. He could have contacted her behind the scenes. This text message that was submitted by Andrew Colvin, he could have sent that to Candace behind the scenes. Like a lot of these things could have happened like directly with her for people who have contact with her. And from what I understand, it appears Alex Jones did. So it's kind of weird that instead you decide to make the videos and say, oh no, or it was all in an effort to get her to stop talking, to take her down, right? And you ain't got to agree. Let's say you don't agree with any of this. That's fine. That's your right. But it's the length that people are willing to go to stop the conversation from happening in the first place. That's what's suspicious to me. Now they got dates wrong. So I don't know what's going on here, but it doesn't answer the question about September 8th. It doesn't. And even if you don't believe that he did see her, I mean, we may never know. To pretend that it's outlandish and it's ridiculous to even think that, given her history and background, I would say not. And I'll get to that in a second. Let's continue.
There were these YouTubers, Paramount Tactical is one of them, who was basically teasing, like, we're going to take down Mitch and show you guys that he's not a credible witness by going back and going through the files of his marriages and ex-relationships and to show you that he's an abuser. And this is going to be the end of Candace Owens' career, like totally weird. Like, I never told my followers that they should go marry Mitch. I have no idea what he was doing 20 years ago in a relationship. There were no convictions against him that I could find, whatever. The point.
So this was something that I said as well. I thought is really weird, which is that, okay, let's say those things are true, that he did abuse women. Does that mean he didn't think he saw the people he thought he saw on September 8th and on September 9th? Like, that's the problem. This is why I always push back as well when someone has been arrested and they start diving into their, oh, look, he smoked marijuana. Oh, he failed the 9th grade. This is why I've always pushed back against that. When you're using someone's character to assassinate what they consider to be their truth at that point in time. So because someone has a bad history, meaning that, let's say they've gotten in trouble before, right? Does that mean that they didn't see what they saw? Does that mean that they have the right to be vilified, that they're not telling the truth about it? Like that, it's that type of behavior that I was trying to warn people about. So my whole thing was, when people said that they were coming out with information about Mitch, I was like, okay, well, they must have some information that's going to show that maybe he wasn't telling the truth about actually being there. That's what I thought. But no. The information that is produced is this guy used to abuse women and he was a domestic abuser and da-da-da. I'm like, okay, that's bad. But does that mean that he didn't see the people that he said he saw? So we have to be very careful about blending things together just for the sake of trying to take someone down. And I think that's where this went incredibly wrong. Like, some people decided that they got an order to take Candace down to get her to stop talking about this. They were so, I guess, gung-ho to go out there and try to take her down that they didn't even get their story straight, or they didn't focus on the topic at hand. Did he or did he not see these people at Fort Huachuca? That's the question. The question is not what happened with him and his ex-wife and his kid. That's not the question at right now. And it's like if you were on trial, if there was a case and we were sitting in a courtroom and someone was on trial, and let's say they were on trial for allegedly throwing a soda bottle at someone's head. I don't know. I'm just picking something out of the air. Then next thing you know, the defense comes up to the defendant, the prosecution comes to the defendant, and they start saying things like, is it true that you failed the 9th grade? Okay. What does that have to do with whether or not they threw a soda bottle at someone's head? So I think these are the kind of things we need to pay attention to. And that's where I think people started to get off course. And that's why Alex Jones, another one, all of them are just, they kind of got the order to come in and try to take this down, because now it's starting to implicate the military, allegedly. So now it's a problem, especially for all the pro-military people. Oh, let me come in. We got to hush this down. Don't criticize the military. No. Ay, ay, ay.
Is like, we didn't know where this was coming from. Everyone was like, money must have just gone out. Like, what is happening? Well, tonight was when they did their live to expose me and accidentally exposed Turning Point USA and Erica Kirk. Now, I'm going to show you the messages. Andrew Colvett was apparently live texting this guy, Erica's alibi. Now, this means Erica is sending her alibi. Why wouldn't you just send it to me? Obviously, I didn't have a horse in the race of whether or not he saw you at the hotel. You could have just been like, here's where I was on September 8th. And this whole idea of you even being there would have gone away. Instead, she sends it to Andrew Colvett to send to these obscure YouTubers who are live. And it didn't click with them that Andrew Colvett did not want them to say that he was their source. So this guy just starts live reading the messages that are coming in from Andrew Colvett, where he proceeds to give an alibi that no one asked for. He's like, this is what Erica was doing on September 9th. Okay, the guy said he saw her on the 8th. It's kind of like the Brian Harpole, where they're just like giving us alibis for times that we're not talking about. Again, I wasn't even necessarily pressuring them for an alibi, but he then proceeds to walk him through what Erica was doing on September 9th. And he's pretending like she doesn't even know what Fort Huachuca was, even though her mother has a contract with the Department of Defense and would have obviously had to have been familiar with Fort Huachuca, which is in her backyard.
I told you guys. We're going to get into it again a little bit more about her background. Like, why are people pretending like this could have never happened? As if she wouldn't even know what this is. So they just keep exposing themselves. Like, that's the thing. They keep exposing themselves. They could have handled this privately. They don't want to. By the way, if they feel as though all these things that Candace are saying are lies, why isn't there a lawsuit from Erica Kirk to Candace Owens? Why isn't there a lawsuit from TPUSA to Candace Owens? It's not like Candace hasn't received lawsuits before. Erica, by the way, she studied law. Do you guys know that? She studied legal studies. She also majored in political science and international relations. Go figure. So she knows the law.
And in Turning Point USA's backyard as well.
I'll pause it here. So Andrew Colvett's live directing a non-alibi. So see this? That's Erica's hand. And that's the message that I was reading, you guys. Wow.
Again, I would like to point out that no one said Erica was in some fort. No one said she was in Tucson, and no one said that they saw her on September 9th anywhere. So I don't know what this is. It's just weird. It's a totally strange thing to say. Again, when you have an easy pathway to just reach out to me and say, hey, I saw you mention something on September 8th. Here's where Erica was. Notice that's Erica's hand. So that means Erica, the CEO of Turning Point USA, is directing the spokesperson of Turning Point USA, Andrew Colvett, to send her alibi to Paramount Tactical as he is going into the history of Mitch and supposed to be exposing Mitch for being a serial abuser, but actually exposes Turning Point USA.
So how many of these people, these content creators that came out to expose this Mitch dude, how many of them were contacted by TPUSA? I don't know. And we may never know. But see, this is, you have to pay attention to these things, guys. Gotta pay attention to it. Aye.
Cannot make this up. This is like a PR nightmare, a crisis. Is this just a crisis? Wait, I'm going to show you another message from Andrew, being super discreet here.
Yes, that's Erica's hand. See, this is what I was talking about. What the what? Oh, oof. This one right here, I want to read. See, again, went to dinner with Charlie. Literally, people are lunatics. Proof she was with her kids at 8:33 a.m. PT. Don't share. Taking them for a walk before going into the office. What the fuck?
Look, I'm just saying the TikTokers are going to have a field day. Okay. Bibi Netanyahu has not gotten these TikTokers out of control. They already are not feeling the vibes about Erica. Now you got this directing behind the scenes attacks on really Candace for whatever reason, but like sending them out to do videos about Mitch. And then you do this like false debunking when it's just like, so like telling the truth is free. Like if you could just be like, here you go. It's going to lead people to ask questions. And it's probably the opposite thing is going to happen where people are going to wonder if Mitch's memory was correct. And he did see Erica at Fort Huachuca on September 8th in the evening as Charlie Kirk was touching down from Tokyo into Los Angeles. So I'm just saying this is a PR nightmare. This is just Turning Point. Ugh, man, not good.
No, it's not good. They just keep they keep shooting themselves in the hand. Now, again, when I say Gangsta's Paradise, we're still on the Gangsta's Paradise theme. Turning Point USA to me is basically one big mega church. That's what it seems like to me. It's not just this organization that is supposed to go out there and recruit more conservatives and get them to vote for conservative like candidates. I feel like Turning Point USA has become some big, massive mega church, which also would explain that hideous bling bling Fanny. What was the woman's name? I forget the woman's name. You know, the mega church pastor outfit that Erica Kirk wore at America Fest that first day when she came out. And I was like, what? Why is she wearing that? It gives me those vibes. Gives me those vibes. So to me, Turning Point USA has basically become one big mega church. Yeah, they're out there to help the Republican Party, but also ultimately it seems like Israel has greatly kind of taken over and got their claws synced into Turning Point USA as well. So I'm just going to call it a mega church. That's what I'm going to call it. But when you look back again with Erica Kirk's like history and the family connection, Fort Huachuca is not out of the question. She should be familiar with what it is. I think this is from Anonymous here. Listen to this.
Because when you trace her bloodline, the story darkens fast. The deeper you follow her lineage, the clearer it becomes. This isn't romance, it's recruitment. Erica Kirk wasn't always Kirk. She was born Erica Fransby, daughter of Kent Fransby, a man tied to the Department of Defense and instrumental in building Raytheon's missile defense systems in Israel.
Now, you can't always help what your parents do, right? Like my parents were military. I can't help what they did as a living. But when you look at the path that Erica Kirk has decided to take, it says a lot of things. So again, we told you before about her dad. We told you how he was, you see the Israel connection right there. Also, didn't she say that she met Charlie? I think the first time she said she met him was in Israel. But then someone came along and they debunked that. And they said, no, they actually met in New York during Trump's first, I guess, presidential campaign. See, a lot of these things don't add up. A lot of it just don't add up.
Yet today, his name has almost vanished from the internet. Every trace deleted. Coincidence? Maybe. But her mother, Lori Fransby, runs a company holding multiple government contracts, defense, homeland security, even NASA. And her grandfather, Carl Kenneth Fransby, vice president of American Banknote Company, a firm specializing in secure IDs and secret printing tech. Grand Chief of a fraternal Viking order, knighted by the King of Sweden. This isn't just a family, it's a network, powerful, protected, and deeply connected.
These are the gangsters. I was telling you, these are the gangsters, the people who are deeply connected. You know, Erica Kirk wasn't just a beauty pageant who just happened to meet Charlie Kirk in Israel, and she just happened to go to a Turning Point USA job. She was interested in working for TPUSA, and he just happened to say, hey, I actually want to date you instead. Honey, the stars don't align that much. Okay? Sometimes the stars do align, but they don't align that much. So she is coming from a family that is deeply connected to intelligence and the military.
At only 17, Erica founded Romanian Angels, a non-profit meant to save orphans. But locals in Romania whisper another story, that some of these aid missions masked trafficking routes. And in 2013, Erica posted a video thanking Colonel Busher III, a man accused of sex trafficking and running a brothel from a U.S. base.
See what I'm saying? Right? Like, I know I mentioned this weeks ago when we first started diving into who she really was. Because in the beginning, I didn't realize this about her. And I started, like, people saying, look her up more. And I started looking her up more. And I'm like, oh, okay. Then when you look into other information, by the way, this is available publicly on Wikipedia. Check it out before they take it down. You know, it just all fit the typical image. Majored in political science and international relations. Also, later on, studied legal studies. You know, it just, and this is not to say everyone that majors in political science or international relations is sus, but when you see someone, these people in these powerful positions, right? When I was growing up, when I was in undergrad, political science was deemed one of the more useless majors. Because it's just like, if you really want to get into politics and government, you don't have to major in political science to do that. I guess it can help you in some ways to learn a little bit more about how the government works, but you don't have to major in political science to learn that. So it's just one of those degrees. It's just like, nah. But the political science and international relations connection, man, I'm telling you, a lot of these people deeply, deeply connected.
The same base where reports of missing children still linger. Then she studied at Regis College, a Jesuit stronghold, before joining New York's elite, the Corcoran Group, the same firm that listed Jeffrey Epstein's mansion. Somehow this small-town girl kept climbing. And in 2012, she became Miss Arizona, under the ownership of Donald Trump. Her future husband, Charlie Kirk, met her during a pilgrimage to Israel with her mother. The same Israel that tied back to her father's defense work. Then came tragedy. Charlie's death ruled a shooting, but her reaction? Unshaken. On stage, she forgave the alleged killer, before any proof. And while others like Candace Owens demanded answers, Erica focused on fundraising.
Yep. Oh my gosh. You know, she forgave Tyler Robinson. She seemed to have more sympathy for Tyler Robinson than she did for Candace Owens. It's really weird. It was very weird how she just instantly said it was him, and just went along with the narrative. That's what I said. I'm like, don't you guys find it kind of weird that she's just not questioning this at all? She just went right along with the script, ladies and gentlemen.
And taking Charlie's seat as CEO of Turning Point USA. The same man who, just before his death, began questioning Israel's influence. And now, she carries his torch, but without his fire, without his doubt, with calm eyes and a spotless image. Too calm, some say. Too perfect, others whisper. Maybe she's a widow, or maybe she's the weapon. A honey trap deployed to silence, redirect, and reset.
I would say she was probably recruited. And I'll tell you, and you'll learn this, you know, as you get older, for the younger people, you don't get all these opportunities just because you worked hard. Working hard is important. It does matter, but you have to have connections as well. And sometimes when you have a lot of connections and the right connections, you don't really have to work hard. Surprise. So the stars do not align as much as they seem to have for Erica. That's not reality. And now they're out there sending text messages to people with a date that wasn't the date that Mitch said he saw her there. So people are wondering, like, why do people keep questioning Turning Point USA, etc.? Because you look shady. You look sus. And you've been lying. And that's why people are asking these questions. And also the FBI, they lying too. I mean, it's so obvious. So obvious. So, yeah, man, I'm doing that live stream. I'm trying to put that message out there and say that, well, this is where she was on said date and it was the wrong date, doesn't help their case. What a mess. Hey guys, this was a Sabby clip. If you like what you saw, hit that like button and subscribe.